Alright, welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to go over the latest update to Ghost Simulator, like most of you guys are usually familiar with. In the latest update to Ghost Simulator 1.162, it is a massive overhaul to a lot of how Ghost World works, specifically the quests, but a little bit also to do with a few other things, including pet stats, and also a little bit on progression for rebirths. Now, the biggest thing done in this update is the NPCs, or at least that is what most people would consider the biggest from what I have seen comments on so far in different places. The big changes are to Leo, Yoko, and Shelly, with those being the three main quests that new players actually find. And the focus of these changes has really been for the new players to both improve a new player's experience when they first get into Ghost World, make it be a little bit more straightforward progression for a new player in Ghost World, and then also smooth out a few issues that people had with specifically Yoko for rebirths. Now, to do all of this, a lot of their quests got nerfed. So Shelly now, instead of having 34 quests, now only has 21 quests. Leo, instead of 24, is now down to 18, and then Yoko has stayed at 18 quests. To make up for this, or really because these quests were originally, specifically Shelly, reset when you rebirth, Shelly now will reset whenever you rebirth, meaning that you do lose the additional pet slot every time you'll go ahead and rebirth. I haven't rebirthed since I did it, but I will. I'm planning on doing some more whenever I have free time, which I won't for the next 4 weeks. But I do plan on getting a few more rebirths. And honestly, since I have played for a long time, back 2-3 years ago, back when Shelly did actually reset when she birthed and had a 33 long quest line, and I ended up doing Shelly 4, 5, 6 times back then, I have no problems with this. Some people do complain a lot with Shelly resetting, but the quest is a lot easier now, and every other perk really from main quest lines, with the exception of Remnant Zone, will reset when you rebirth. So you can think of it as losing like the magnet from Jesse, the jetpack from Riley. It's just one of those quest perks that should honestly have always reset from the game. Someone said Royal at some point said it shouldn't be permanently there, but it is now no longer a thing. I have said this in the past. When I became a developer, I was going to make Shelly not permanent. But really, if you aren't wanting to do her, don't do her during rebirth. She's an optional quest. That being said, that brings us up to our next point, which is Leo. Leo's always reset when you rebirth, but now he's actually going to be required to actually enter the castle and actually do a rebirth whenever you do go through and do it again. This is I think a lot of people, when they first see this, they're very mad at it. It does seem unnatural. The main goal of this is actually for new players to both lock off these areas that new players really shouldn't have access to, similar to how antennas work in main hub and backdoor, and then also provide a little bit of a more perks required for rebirthing. As I said before, Leo did get a nerf. He went from 24 quests to 18 quests, which is about a 25% nerf to his overall quest length. On top of that, a lot of the items were actually removed from his quest, so it won't require as much items. Overall, he is a lot easier. And because he is now required for a rebirth, some quests from Yoko were actually nerfed. Specifically, a lot of the boss quests and then the rare ghosts that you have to collect for his quest have been nerfed. More specifically, the first quest of his went from 7 to 3, the second quest went from 7 to 4, and the last quest went from 7 to 6. Overall, this is 8 bosses removed, which is over a 33% nerf to his bosses, and then also some of the rare ghosts got removed from his quest. Overall, from what I have seen, this does make rebirths somewhere between just as quick, 15 minutes slower, or maybe even 15 minutes faster, depending on who I ask. Overall, the intention was going to be fine with even making rebirths around 45 minutes longer for the fastest, so going from a 150 maximum rebirth time to a 230 maximum rebirth time, but it looks like more likely than not, rebirths are actually been massively, or maybe not massively, but haven't been actually nerfed as much. May have even been slightly buffed depending on several factors. In addition, since you are required to do Yoko to progress, what you will be, new players and casual players will be able to grab the heavy armor, and which allows them to go ahead and AFK for some of the boss quests for Yoko, which should make actually rebirths quite a bit better for the casual player, at the expense of maybe adding a little bit more difficulty to a normal rebirth by having more quests to juggle. Overall, I I would say this is a positive nerf. As I said, I probably wouldn't have done this if I didn't have positive. From what I've seen on Discord so far, is that people are initially really skeptical about this and really hate that Shelly resets, Leo's required for rebirths, and don't realize that all this stuff has been nerfed, and that actually when you go through the quests, the nerfs are actually very helpful and actually do make up for a lot more than you think when you first see it. That being said, you guys do have your complaints. Feel free to list your complaints in the comment section. I will be going through, and if this is a huge thing, like I was looking at before, if rebirths are over like 2.5 minutes for like... Alright, just a quick interjection right now. Either before I recorded that or after I recorded, someone sent a screenshot on Discord, and I just wanted to show this one to you guys really quick. Rebirth times, this was a casual player that did this, like not someone that's done too much practice on rebirth, was able to get 222. This is faster than what my cutoff was for like emergency nerfs to rebirth times. So really, rebirth times are either at an okay level. My okay level was between 2 hours and 2 hours and 30 minutes, or faster than an okay level, i.e. less than 2 hours again. So rebirth time should actually be pretty much unaffected or a little bit better. And then also, as I said later, or I don't know if I've already said this in the video, should be better for casual players. I just wanted to let you guys know that, yeah, rebirths are at a fine point, it seems. And if anything, I will need to buff how long it takes in a later update to make it take a little bit longer, because I might have accidentally over adjusted one way. But yeah, no, if you want to, you can go ahead and rebirth now, it's fine. And you know, you get Leo's armor now, so yay. But yeah, back to the video. I was intending for rebirths to be the same time, if not longer, since I do feel like rebirths have been made shorter and shorter and shorter. But yeah, in addition to this, there has also been some other massive changes that do also, or maybe not massive changes, but there has been other changes that do go ahead and affect rebirths. Specifically, dialogue is now much faster to go through when you're talking to an NPC, instead of requiring you to wait and be frame dependent like it was before. Whereas if you had 3 FPS like I would now, dialogue would take forever. Now you can actually spam and dialogue goes through quite fast, as you can see right now. Usually if you're going through dialogue like that, it would actually take forever to get through it. Now it's a lot faster when you're lagging. On top of that, spamming spacebar more will actually make the dialogue go even faster. So if you are really tired about dialogue, you can literally get through that thing really quickly. This is mainly because Shelly now has an insane amount of dialogue squashed into her 21 quests, since pretty much none of her lore was cut out when she was changed from 33 quests to 21 quests. So it all kind of got condensed, and so that was made quite a bit faster. In addition, the reward thing that pops up when you do complete and get a quest reward is now not a fixed time frame. It is instead will speed up if you are spamming through quests, which should help a decent amount, I think, with making stuff better. There's a few other big changes. As I said at the beginning, pet sets have been adjusted for every single pet crate between 4 and 11, which is Ghost World and Backdoor, and then also the Void Crate. This is only really noticeable for endgame people. For the classifieds, actually have them in my inventory, all of them except for Cloudwave. Specifically stuff like, actually I do not have a Cosmic Queen because I have been kind of bad at unboxing. But you'll notice from some like Vex Flower, got some slight buffs. Basically all of this has been done just to help new players get better stats earlier and have a little bit more pet progression in the early part of the game, and be able to set up quicker for souls. Also, the cost in souls for the vacuums and packs in Ghost World were massively reduced. Some were 2, 3, 4, cut into a fourth or whatever. So it should be a little bit easier to upgrade your packs and vacs in Ghost World. The last pet crate is, or the last thing is just as expensive. But yeah, should be a little bit better. And lastly, there is a new board crate added into Ghost World. This is over here in the normal board crate. This is probably the last board that is being added to Ghost World, since it is kind of a smaller world, and we're kind of out of gem space. But yeah, now there is a board crate number 5. You can purchase it with 50,000 gems. Again, it is a Ghost World board crate, so it is slightly on the cheaper side. It is cheaper than the 75,000 in Backdoor. It has a lot of cool boards, actually. So if you want to collect some of them, you guys can go ahead and do it. But overall, something that people are probably pretty meh about, since it doesn't really add too much to the actual gameplay of the game. Lastly, there was quite a few other tweaks, like the board was hopefully made a little bit less lag dependent, although from my testing it seems to be not the case. I tried to go ahead and take a little bit fixes out of it to make it so that you could actually fly properly when low lag. It looks like those didn't work, but there was actually a change that did take effect that does work, and that is now whenever you're on the ground on the hoverboard, you'll be able to basically instantly jump again. So if you're doing obbies or whatnot, you should be able to go ahead and jump. I can't really show this off right now with how bad lag is. Lag and hoverboard have always been a bad combination, so sorry about that. I would like to show you guys that a little bit better, but you can test this out for yourself. Basically, it's a lot better. There's also been a few other tweaks to Ghost World, minor visual stuff, changes, some lore I think added. Dark Thunder did most of that. Yeah, I think that is the update. If I did miss anything, let me know in the comments. If you guys have thoughts on this update, like Hate Leo, feel free to share in the comments. I would recommend going and testing them out yourself first, like especially Shelly resetting and Leo being required for Rebirth. Go test it out and actually see what it looks like before going and complaining. I know a lot of people's first reaction have been in the Discord, oh wow, why is this change made? Why is Leo required? Angry. And then they go look at Leo's quest and Yoko's quest and realize, oh wait, this is actually not bad. So same thing with Shelly. I think Shelly is one of those things where it really never should have been permanent in the first place. I don't think it ever should have been, and I didn't make it, so I have zero issues with making it reset now, especially in the nerfed state it is, which should help new players actually tackle Ghost World. Again, most of these changes are actually for new players to have a better player experience when it comes to getting into Ghost World, because for the longest time Ghost World's, at least in my eye, has been a really confusing place for new players. That being said, there's one change I didn't bring up, and that is actually item descriptions. This applies to a few items in the game, not to every single item. This is mainly main hub items, and then a few Ghost World progression items, like the data chip, whatever you need to upgrade your antenna to a level 11, and then the key for Leo's, and then also all the main hub items. I've got a description which can actually be seen when you're upgrading your antenna. Again, this doesn't actually apply to any of the non-main hub items, but this description is visible on all items, and it also is visible on all items as well, without having to hover over equip, which should make it a little bit better. Yeah, not the biggest change. I think most players are going to skim over this, but should help new players at least understand items a little bit better and not get as stuck on upgrading their antenna to level 11. Hopefully, along with Leo's quest change, should make Ghost World a little bit more linearly progressed. Again, let me know your thoughts in the description, if you got, or comment section. If you have any other feedback, like, you know, maybe, I don't know, Riley should be required for a Rebirth 2 as well, let me know. I know that's something people have been suggesting that I don't think is a great idea, but no, people will suggest whatever they want to. Feel free to let me know. I will be gone for the next 4 weeks, as I said earlier in this video, I think. So I don't expect too much streams like I have been doing hard mode and my normal count for Monday. That is going to be an unfortunate thing for the next while. I should be back mid-August, but until then, I'll see you guys in the update videos. Bye.